Hello again, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about why narcissism is exploding. And it is. Absolutely. I'm not going to go into detail about proving to you that narcissism is exploding. I think you probably know that. But I have estimated that probably around 1 in 5 people is a full-blown narcissist. If you listen to Dr. Romani, for an example, she will actually say the same thing. I've heard her estimate 15 to 20% of people walking the earth are full-blown narcissists. And it is a personality style that people have, but that's not even including the number of people who have a lot of narcissistic traits that are not maybe full-blown, because we always have to remember it is on a spectrum. There are people that are just show some narcissistic traits, some that show tons. And so, but it's rampant. You guys are on here watching this, and I'm doing this because it's so prevalent on this planet. So let's just get that out of the way. So that said, why is it so prevalent? I've got 5 reasons, and they're going to build with intensity, but I really think every one of these reasons is important. So the first one is dysfunction of the family unit, or disillusion of the family unit, however you want to put it. So one of the things that Satan has done really, really well in this world, extremely well, is he has subverted everything God's created and destroyed everything, flipping it upside down. You'll see that more on my other reasons. But one of the things that he's just mangled is the family unit. So fatherless homes on the rise have been for many, many decades. That's one of the leading causes of criminal behavior. It's one of the leading causes of atheism, immorality. So that's one thing, but even within family units, so the breakdown of the nuclear family sort of thing, but even within that, families don't function the way they once did. They're not cohesive. They're not strong. Many family units are separate. People are off in their own worlds. Many people share parents. Divorce is rampant. I mean, divorce is crazy. It's 50% of all first-time marriages. I think 67% of all second-time marriages, and it goes actually up from there. So people who say that second-time marriages are better than first or have a better success rate, that's not true. It's actually worse. But that is a leading cause. So what this creates is just obviously selfishness. It creates people who don't have boundaries, morals. They don't know what it is to love. They don't know what it is to have empathy. They don't have a strong family unit. One of the things you really have to watch with somebody, and I'm not trying to pigeonhole people, some of you came from a broken family background and you didn't become narcissist. It's not a recipe, but if you're going to start dating somebody, you might want to really take seriously what their family background is. How is their relationship with their parents? How is their relationship with their brothers and sisters and so on? So destruction and dissolution of the family unit is a major reason why this is happening. That's number 1. 2, reversal of gender roles. I'm not sure there are very few ways that Satan's stranglehold over this world are more evident, and his subversion of everything that God makes, in other words, flipping it upside down. There's very few better examples than the role of gender or gender roles in today's world, especially Western society. What I mean is men are sissified or more like women, and women are more like men. There is a struggle for power, an absolute power struggle in most relationships, certainly in many. And my way of putting this is very, very, I think, succinct, and it hits home. And what we've done today with the common man and the common woman is we've created a society where most men can't lead a relationship, and most women won't let them. So listen to that again. Most men can't lead a relationship, and most women won't let them. So we have a double problem. It's a big issue because men are taking the female roles, women are taking the male roles, but mainly this is seen in the power struggle that exists between couples. And this is right even among those people who stay married. So let's just stay with the divorce rate of about 50%. Those 1 and 2 couples who do stay married, are all of them happy? Or all of them having good relationships? No, not by a landslide. Because a lot of it is a power struggle that exists. women will, or not, and this is going to get to my next point, but women will not be submissive to men. And I don't mean letting them roll over them and mistreat them. That's not what I mean. But I mean submissive in the sense that they are going to allow the man to be the spiritual head of the house. They're not going to let that happen. And most men don't know how to do that. So it gets back to my point. Most men can't lead. Most women won't let them. So the flipping of gender roles in the house is a major issue. Connected to that will be what I get to with number 4. Well, you know what? Let's just cover this now. So the biggest problem is, as I said, is what has happened is feminism is one part of it, but basically you have this scenario where everybody wants to have backup supply sources. Women are taught to be in control of relationships. Men are taught to let the woman be in control. Women have to be breadwinners. Men have to allow them to be breadwinners. We have what is called the boss babes. And there's all sorts of reasons why this takes place. But that has created a flipped and role reversal within marriages, within relationships. And guys, it doesn't work. You cannot have a scenario where there's a tug of war and both are going to be bosses and both are going to be in control and neither are going to be submissive. And even in relationships where the male is being submissive to the female, those generally don't work because that's not the created order of things. Men and women are both given a lot of instruction in Scripture. In fact, men are given more instruction overall about how to treat a wife respectfully, to love her the way that you would love yourself, to care for her. But the woman is supposed to come under the headship of the man to some degree. Plenty of decision-making abilities, plenty of say in the relationship. Ladies, I'm not trying to say lay down and be a doormat. Far from that. There's no precedent for that, and it's not going to work. What I'm saying is there has to be this knowledge of what men and women were created to be, which is equal in the sight of God and equal in what they do, the roles that we are supposed to have. There's equality, but they're not the same roles. So the woman has to come under the headship of the man, and the man has to be able to be that spiritual leader in the household. And they work together, the female as a helper for the man. And it's beautiful, but that's not the way it works anymore. And that is a huge reason why narcissism is on the rise. Or better yet, that might even be narcissism is an effect of why it is that way. It sort of bounces off of each other. So anyway, let's move on. I'm going to get back to a little bit of that in the number 4. 3. Oh, don't get me started. Here we go, guys. You know. Social media and dating apps. Yes, the dreaded dating app. Social media is plenty bad enough, but the dating app is just miserable. These are the devil's playground. It's the narcissist playground. And it's one of the major reasons. So why exactly is social media and dating apps so devastating, and why have they caused and exacerbated narcissism? Well, it's very simple. An abundance, an explosion of supply sources. See, people used to have to go out and meet others. They met people through connections. They went to events. They went to communities, organizations, church functions, all manner of things, and they met people in real life. And that was really the primary way that it had to be done, as it has been throughout all of human history. Not anymore. You can be sitting anywhere at any time and talk to somebody that lives close or lives on the other side of the planet. Dating apps and social media are both the same way. Inboxing, messaging. You can have 4 or 5 different accounts on social media sites, several dating sites, and you can literally just be all day long, every day. It's effortless. This is how the narcissist gets away with so much, and this is why supply is so abundant. This is also why I don't think narcissists actually hoover quite as much as they once did, because they don't need to. They can just get on their phone behind your back, literally while you're right next to them, and be on their third arm and be getting supply from something. And it's effortless. It's actually frustrating how easy it is. And one of the major downfalls is this creates within society, this is why narcissism is created from this stuff. This creates this idea that basically there is an infinite number of possibilities. It's endless options. You can get on there and it's just swipe, 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 and they just keep coming. Don't, like I'm talking about a dating site specifically, don't like what you're getting? Well, expand your results a little bit to allow for farther away places, and all of a sudden here's a new influx. Instead of 25 miles away, now it's 50, and there's a whole new horde. Want to expand it to the rest of the state? Endless. What about out of state? People do this. People talk to people from other countries. There is a never-ending amount. Do you realize how easy that makes it for a narcissist to cheat and to triangulate and to line up supply sources, one on the other? And this is why the narcissist may or may not have told you, I've got backups and backups for my backups. Well, how did they do that? Did they meet all these people organically? Not usually. Instead, they're almost always meeting these people on social media and dating sites. Because how simple is it to send a message? To put out feelers to all kind of people. And a word to the men that are watching this, especially, stay off dating sites because they are flooded with other men. You have very little chance, and most women you're going to talk to are talking to a whole bunch of people. In fact, there's been pushback recently on different dating apps from women who are upset because they can't talk to more than 7, 8, 10 men at the same time, because that's not enough. And I'm not picking on women. I'm saying that this is how it works on a dating app. So they're the devil's playground. When you have infinite supply sources that are right there at the push of a button, and you can make false accounts, and you can do it behind your partner's back, and so on and so forth, that creates an absolute widespread burst of narcissism. The amount of narcissism in this world is directly related to social media and dating apps. It's absolutely 100%. You cannot convince me otherwise. There's a direct linkage. It's obvious. Let's move on to number 4. Very related. Just societal norms. The way that our society functions. So, I talked about this earlier. Backups. The way that operates now is people are trained and told to do several things. Never put all your eggs in one basket, right? Don't go all in on anything because you might get burned. And that's exactly what the narcissist does, isn't it? They won't go all in on anyone. They will have backups for their backups if they can, because they're not going to get burned. They are always going to have something set up so they're a step ahead of you, so that if anything happens, they can go right on. So when a narcissist exits a relationship and they're immediately in another relationship, think about this logically. How did that happen? It happened because they were already communicating with that person before they broke up with you or before you discarded them. So where people are literally taught to have backup supply sources. I have seen figures of up to about 70% of females in the United States, married or not, have a backup male selected that is in place in case their relationship breaks down. Men do it too. It's taught in our society. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And what this really is don't trust anyone. The reason the narcissist does what they do, in a large part, is because they don't trust themselves. And everything that they are doing, they assume everyone else is doing the same thing. So when they insist on looking through your phone, they are doing it because they know they're doing things on their phone. If they are accusing you of cheating, it's because they are cheating. They'll sometimes admit this. After I discarded the narcissist, I said, if you really feel like you have to go through someone's phone again, just break up with them. You don't trust them. And her words were so true and so pertinent. She said, it's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust myself. It's right. The narcissist doesn't trust themselves. And our culture is taught to do this. Don't trust anybody. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't go all in on any relationship. Make sure you're talking to multiple men and multiple women. Even if you're married, have somebody lined up in case that marriage falls apart. Is it any wonder why things are a mess? Is it any wonder why narcissism is so rampant? So, this leads to number 5. This is probably the biggest one, but it's very broad and all-encompassing. The overall increase in godlessness And I hate to say godlessness, actually, because everybody on earth serves a God. Everybody. And what I mean by that is when you're born into this world, you are under the lordship of the God of this world. And the God of this world, as Scripture reveals, and as Jesus also said, the ruler of this world, it's Satan. So to not follow Christ does not mean you don't have a God. To not follow Christ means you are under Satan's lordship. Not saying you openly worship, not saying that you are going and doing rituals. I'm not saying you're doing fantastic evil, but I'm saying you are actually under his lordship. The only thing that gets you out of his lordship is the blood of Christ, because the blood of Christ is spiritual currency. He shed his blood, and it's got buying power. It buys people back from the kingdom of darkness. See, everyone is under. So when I say godlessness, what I really mean is the lack of people who are, the complete dearth of people who are under the lordship of Jesus Christ. It dwindles all the time. The path is very narrow. So when that happens, there goes your moral compass for most people. There goes your desire to do good. If you don't have a genuine, authentic relationship to Christ, you are not able to walk that narrow path. You do not have salvation, and you do not have the light within you. You have the Spirit of God within you. So that means a breakdown of morals in our society. Just go out and look around. I don't have to tell you guys. You know it. You see it. It's evident. We live in a culture that is corrupt. The moral compass is broken. Morality is thrown out the window. Live with who you want. Have as many partners as you want. Choose your gender if you want. I probably shouldn't have said that because I might get removed. But the point is, this is where we are in the world. I shouldn't say that. I'm here to speak what I speak, but I think you guys understand that there are certain things that I want this channel to stay up because it does nobody any good if it's not up. Anyway, moving on. Point is, we live in a very decayed, a morally decayed and bankrupt society. Most societies around the world are this way. Western culture is the one I can speak to the most because it's what I live in, and it is an abject disaster, morally speaking. So, of course, when you have that, you're going to have the rise in narcissism. And let me read this. It's been a while since I did. This is all in alignment with what we would expect to see as time goes on and as we approach the coming of Christ in the last days. This is what Paul said in 2 Timothy 3, 1-5. And really listen to this. It's so powerful, and it's just striking how exact this is about the narcissist, how precise. It says, "But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power, a counterfeit. Have nothing to do with such people." So, guys, that is where it is. We are in this mess for a lot of different reasons. Narcissism is rampant. It's going to get worse. The exposure, even though there's an increase in exposure of narcissism, it's because there's such an increase in narcissism. It's so evident that most people are experiencing this. Most people that you know have been or are in some kind of abusive narcissistic relationship. Their parents were, or a good friend was, or an ex-wife, an ex-husband, an ex-romantic partner. I get all kind of people commenting, sending, and I interact with people in real life, but commenting, sending emails, etc., and they explain their situations, and it's amazing how many people have been involved with this. It is touching almost every person in some way, shape, or form. So I went over the reasons why I think that is mainly the case. Real fast, recap. Destruction and disintegration of the family unit, reversal of gender roles, social media and dating apps, the devil's playground, societal norms being what they are, backups, never deal with one person, that sort of thing, don't trust. And 5, the overall increase in ungodliness or wickedness. So those things together, yeah, narcissism is exploding, and we have to keep calling it out. There's never going to be enough knowledge about this. Most people still don't know what narcissism is, even though they have probably encountered it. So anyway, guys, I hope this is interesting. If you agree or disagree, whatever the case, I'd love to hear from you and drop comments. You guys have amazing comments. I'm just blown away every time I read them, honestly. So anyway, hope this was helpful for you. Until next time, God bless.